Good morning, boys and girls. For writing today, I'm going to reteach you something that we've already done before. Okay, so for our mini lesson, you're going to watch this, and then at the end, you're going to have two choices of what you want to do. Now, first, we are going to talk about topics because we are all done or close to done with our books now. And our next unit, we're going to need some more topics for writing for you to know what you need to write about or some options for you to write about. So our topics could be animals, events, places, or people. Okay? And I'm going to make my own list of animals, events, places, and people I could write about. But that means your list is different because, well, I know different people than you, right? And I've probably been to different places than you, and you've been to different places than me. And we probably have had different events in our lives, and we probably know about different kinds of animals than other people. So I'm going to make my list today. So I want you to watch me do this. I just have any kind of paper from home. Mine's from school. And I'm going to write a line down the middle and a line going from side to side. Okay? And at the top of each box, I'm going to put what my topic is. So this topic is going to be animals. This topic is going to be events, and these will be the same on yours if this is the thing that you choose to do. Events, places, and people. Okay, so I'm going to start thinking in my head about animals that I could write about. I already wrote about my dog as a child. Remember my dog? I could also write about my cat that I had when I was a kid. I also know quite a few things about horses because I grew up with them, and cows and chickens. What other animals? I learned a lot about sharks when we were at the aquarium not too long ago. Boys and girls, these lists will change, so even if you've already made a list like this, I didn't have sharks on my last list, right? Because I didn't know a lot about sharks before. Okay, so that's a good list of animals. I want you to have about 5 or so, okay? Events. I love my birthday. That's an event in my life. And I just had one, so I could talk about my birthday. I could talk about Halloween that's coming up and what my kids are going to do and what they're going to dress up as. I could talk about my wedding because I got married. Now, would you have your wedding on your list? No, because you haven't gotten married yet, right? But Mrs. Burnett has, so I could talk about my wedding. I could talk about my kids being born. Could you talk about your kids being born? No, because you don't have kids. See how it's different for everyone? Everyone could have different things on their list. You could write about maybe a vacation you took. I could also write about that, so I'm going to write that down. Okay, so those are some events. I know that some of you wrote about Holy and how fun that was for your book, so that's cool. All right, we're going to go down here and look at places. So I'm going to think of places that I have been that I would like to write about. Let's see. I just went to Cincinnati. I could write about that. I could write about my house or my parents' house. I could write about church. I think I had this one on the last one too. Church. What other places? Oh, I could write about Lukaby because I love it. That coffee place that I go. Okay, so those are some places that I could write about. You might have different places. You might have the playground. You might have the pool. You might have school. You might have church or your house or someplace you like to go. Okay, now I'm going to move on to people. People could be my husband. So these are people that you know, okay? My husband, my kids. Would you write your husband or your kids? No, because you don't have any of those. I could write about my brother, and I have written about my brother, if you remember me writing about visiting him. I could write about my family in general, how big it is, how many people there are, who they are, what they like. I could write about my friends, and I could even list them. I could even list their names. You could put names on this also. My husband, Josh, my kids, Will, Ryan, and Scarlett. See how I'm just adding more and more people whenever I think of things? Okay? So this is my list of topics that I could write about. Animals I could write about, events I could write about, places I could write about, and people I could write about. Now that is one option for you. Most of you are going to do this. Some of you have not finished your book yet. If you have not, today is the day. I want you to wrap it up, okay? Because we are going to move on to something different on Friday, and our books need to be all done. So I want you to finish it to the best of your ability. If you already finished your book, topics is what you are doing, okay? I want a totally new list, not the list you made already, a new one. And if you are new in my class, this is what you're doing today. I know that most of you finished your books. So this is what your list should look like. You should have 2 lines. You should have animals, events, places, and people. And you should have different things than mine. Okay? So I want you to have different things in mind. At least 5 in each box. Because that list is going to come really in handy when I ask you to decide what you want to write about. Okay? So make sure you really think about it. Is this something I could write about? Can I write about my dog? Can I write about my cat? Can I write about my birthday or Halloween? Can I write about my house or church? Can I write about my husband? What would I put? Okay, so think about that. And write down your topics. When you're done, you will work on this for 18 minutes today. Keep writing the whole time, and when you're done, share it with me on Seesaw. Happy writing!